When people hear Amazon or wholesale, they overcomplicate it. They think it's some secret method that takes months for them to figure out. It's not. I built a $1 million per month Amazon business that did over $35 million in sales. And the truth is, Amazon wholesale is stupid simple once you figure out what it actually is. So in this video, I'm gonna break it down as simple as humanly possible. What is Amazon wholesale and how do you actually operate this business? I'm gonna go over how it's different between private label and drop shipping and the exact steps you need to take to start making money selling name brand products without spending months with guesswork. All right, let's get into it. We first have to understand what wholesale is not. There are a ton of ways to make money selling products online. One of the most popular ways that people think about when getting into the e-commerce space is something called private label or white label. Now, what is that? Well, it sounds pretty cool. It's you going out there and launching your own brand. Like, let's say you want to create a better version of a camera or a toothpaste or a body wash or a beauty product. You go out there and either one, you use a formula that's already created and you just slap your logo on it and boom, you have a brand. Or you go out and make your own custom formulation of something and then create it for yourself. Now, the thing about it is private label is where we all think we need to start off, and it sounds great. You have complete ownership of the brand. People know your brand name. You're gaining popularity. Like, who wouldn't want this? One of my favorite parts about this business model is you really determine the price. Like, if you want to raise prices, if you want to create new products, if you want to create bundles, it is yours. It is your baby. You do what you want. And at the end of the day, what I really like about private label is the ability to exit. You can actually, if you scale your brand high enough, you can sell it, right? And make a ton of money in bulk. Now, it sounds great on paper, but here's the thing, right? When you go into launching your own brand, you gotta be real here. Unless you have a huge following on social media or you know how to actually develop one, you're going to need to do something called marketing, right? If no one knows about your product, then no one can buy it. The products that we generally buy are not always the best products in the market. Those are the ones that have the most traffic. They generate the most eyeballs. When you go and release your own brand, well, no one's heard about it except you, your friends, and your family, and I guess whoever else you have on social media. So now you have to go and spend money on marketing. So here's the thing, right? No matter what platform you're marketing on, whether it be YouTube, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, whether it be TikTok, whatever you name it, is an auction-based system. Meaning that people raise their hand and they put a bid on whatever the auction is. So if you're bidding on a word like toothpaste, it might be super popular, right? So that bid can go up to $1, $3, $5, $10 a click, whatever. Now, this is something that puts you in a hole because when you go and launch your own brand, you gotta be A-okay with not just not making money for months because you have to go get the samples created for your product, website created, logo created, get the full order for your product. Now you have to spend money on marketing. So you're not getting paid, you haven't generated a sale in any of this time period. But this step right here, marketing, is the most expensive one. This is the one that if you're not a good marketer, you can literally go upside down and lose a ton of money. This is what happened to me. I thought I had a killer product. I didn't account for how much I had to spend on advertising to bring eyeballs to it. And before I knew it, I was about 6K in the hole. Now, if you have the budget and the stomach to deal with that, go with private label, right? If you're looking for something that you're not trying to make money in the next few months, you're really thinking a few years out, go with private label. But if you are looking to generate cash flow, like literally in the next week, next month, this method, as you probably could already tell, is not the one to go with. So this was something that I started with, but it was really, I was having a bad time. I wasn't great at marketing. I really didn't understand anything. And I was digging myself into a ditch. So this was not something what I recommend for most beginners who are trying to generate cash flow. This is really for people who are thinking on a much longer time frame. Now, the next popularized model is something called dropshipping. Now, this is arguably the one that people love the most. It sounds so good. What dropshipping is instead of you buying months and months of inventory like you would have had to do in private label, there are these suppliers that literally hold the inventory for you. You can list it on a website like your Shopify store or TikTok, and every time you generate a sale, they get paid. They ship the product to the customer and you make the profit. You play the role of the middleman. It sounds so good because you don't have to pay for inventory up front. You don't have to touch a single box. All of that is all good and gravy. So a lot of people love dropshipping, but here's the issue with it. While you can quickly test products and you can just try multiple dropshipping products to see how they do, what you have to account for, once again, is the marketing cost. Now, if you could use a platform like Amazon for dropshipping, you could pretty much forgo that marketing cost because Amazon has so much traffic. But the thing about it is Amazon completely hates dropshippers on their platform. Because what happens? Most of us buy on Amazon because of Amazon FBA, Amazon Prime. Well, here's the thing. When you're doing drop shipping, your inventory is not at Amazon. It's still at your supplier, your distributor, which may be in China, India, God knows where, right? So it takes weeks and months sometimes for the product to get to the consumer. That's not really why people shop on Amazon. It leads to a ton of negative reviews. When there's issues with the products, they don't really know who to go to because it's not even you shipping out the product. There's no quality control. It's a nightmare. So if you do drop shipping on Amazon, you run the risk of getting your account shut down. So where does drop shipping work? Well, on platforms like Shopify, where you create your own store, or if you have your own store on TikTok, those do really well. But on Amazon, you are running the risk of getting your whole account shut down. And even worse than getting an account shut down, they will literally hold whatever money you have in there until you can prove that you weren't doing something that was against their terms of service. I wouldn't run the risk of running this on Amazon, but if it's something you wanted to do, it works really well on Shopify. Now, what's the difference there? Okay, if you want to do drop shipping on Shopify, it follows the same principles as private label. You need to generate eyeballs. If you're going to release a Shopify website, who knows about it? Well, you put in your link in bio on your Instagram or on your YouTube channel if you have one, on TikTok, and yeah, those people see it. But in reality, if you want to scale to 10, 20, 100K a month, what's that going to look like? You're going to need to generate some eyeballs. You're going to need to run ads or pay people like creators on these platforms to make content for your product. Now, this is a great method, but once again, as we talked about the 5 issues with private label, marketing is the most expensive thing. You're still going to have to run ads on these platforms like TikTok, like Instagram, like Facebook, like YouTube to generate the eyeballs. This is something that can put you in a deep hole if you have never run ads before, because essentially when you run advertising, you are gambling. There is no guarantee of a return. It's not like, hey, if you spend $100 on this ad, man, we're going to get you a sale, right? You might not get a sale. Now you're 100 in the hole. You spend 500. You might get 1-2 sales. Now you might be 450 in the hole, right? So the thing about it is, for most of us, when we get into the game, we are looking to generate what? Cash flow in a relatively low risk fashion, right? We're not willing to just start gambling money with no guarantee of return. So while this model is great if you understand marketing, if you're willing to kind of risk losing some capital, for most of us, when we get started, we want something that can provide cash flow relatively quickly without taking all this risk. So that leads me to the next 2 models. One is going to be called retail or online arbitrage. This one is super popularized, right? You've probably seen it on social media where people go and they scan a product in Walmart and they see that it sells some more on Amazon. They give the camera a little thumbs up like that. They clear the shelf, they take it to their house, they get it ready, and they send it to Amazon, right? This model is, well, it used to be great, right? Prior to 2024. Now, the reason this model works so well for new sellers is because it doesn't require a lot of capital. You can literally jump in the game with a few $100s. You can start buying inventory and selling it right back on Amazon. It sounds great, but here are the 2 things. While it's a very simple model, there are 2 main issues with it. Number 1, it goes completely against the grain of what's happening on Amazon. Amazon's biggest fear is fake products on the marketplace right now. So when you just buy a product from Dollar Tree or Walmart or something like that, you don't have an invoice. You have a receipt. So Amazon cannot just call Target to be like, hey, did Sally buy that from you? They're gonna be like, who the hell is Sally, right? So you can't prove the authenticity or the legitimacy of your products. So what can happen is, if you can't prove it, Amazon can literally say, see you later, shut down your account, just like dropshipping, right? While this model was great back in 2020, 2021, what you start seeing in 2024 is Amazon started cracking down on these arbitrage sellers and making it extremely hard for them to get approved to sell brands on Amazon and run the risk of getting their account shut down. The other issue is, here's the thing, if you are an arbitrage seller, chances are you're buying these products from a website or a store and you're taking them to your house or your prep center or your storage unit, whatever, to prep it yourself. So here's the thing. When you're doing that, you are still doing what? Trading time for dollars, right? I've never seen an arbitrage seller get to a few $100K a month. I've seen them get capped out around $100K a month, which is not bad, but they got to do a lot of work to get there. They have to continuously look for new deals, have to look on what's on sale, have to keep looking for new products. There's no consistency in their business. What you see with a lot of arbitrage businesses is they're very seasonal. They might have a killer deal on some Halloween stuff, right? It's right now, I'm shooting, this is October 27th. Some Halloween stuff coming out, or some holiday stuff, or some summer stuff. But they don't have this continuous machine that brings in money all year round, right? Well, that's a great model for beginners. For most people, when they come to me, they're saying, hey, I want to make 10K, 20K, 50K a month. I'm like, well, do you want to have your whole living room packed up or your garage packed up with inventory? No, right? Do you want to always be looking for new deals? Do you always want to be chasing the next like high kind of? No, they're looking for consistency and reliability. So this model, even without all the changes happening at Amazon, this has been a model that I speak very strongly on this one. I avoid like the plague because it just doesn't build a business that I actually want. I want something that is easy to manage, something that has consistency, something that has predictable growth. This one is not that, okay, at all, okay? So that brings me to my favorite model and the one that has generated us over 35 mil in sales on Amazon. But look, just so you know, right, I'm gonna be going over this, but if you guys need any more information after this video, you're gonna wanna do a few things. In the description below, you're gonna wanna A, sign up for our next free workshop where I go even more in depth into how we operate this business, or B, you can hit the link below to schedule a quick call with our team to see if you would be a good fit for any of our mentorship programs if you just wanna accelerate the growth. But getting back to it, what is wholesale? Think about it like Walmart, right? How does Walmart generate most of its money? Reselling products. But here's the difference between wholesale and arbitrage, because both of those are reselling models. In arbitrage, you're literally buying from another store at a retail price. So what's gonna happen is if I'm buying at retail to sell at slightly higher retail, my profit is minimum. In wholesale, we're literally buying at a discounted wholesale price, similar to what a Walmart would do or a Target. Buy these brand name products at a cheaper price, sell it back at a retail price, and make the profit in the middle. This is so powerful, right? Because while you need about $2,500 to start in wholesale, $2,500 to maybe $5K, you don't need much more than that to get started for inventory. But what it allows is when you have consistent deals from the brands you're working with, when you have consistent deals from the distributors you're working with, you can get that product month after month, year after year. You know exactly how much profit it's gonna bring you in. And all you have to do to accelerate the growth is find another replenishable product, something that people are gonna buy month after month, year after year. What's even cooler about this compared to arbitrage is when I look for new brands, like we just opened up, I think 92 different brands in the past 2.5 months. As I look for new brands, what am I doing? I'm sending out emails. Maybe my team is making a few phone calls, but everything is remote. I just need a phone and a laptop to operate this business. I don't need to walk around stores. I don't need to do any of that. And every new product that we get is a new income stream. It's something that can literally pay us in perpetuity. Now, cool part about this is you don't need any money for marketing. When we're selling wholesale products on Amazon, we're literally selling things that are already on page 1, page 2, things that have reviews, photos, other sellers on it. And all we're doing is jumping on those listings with them and getting our piece of the pie. So let me break down how wholesale works, right? You probably know, like, okay, that sounds pretty nice, but here's how wholesale works. We go and find a brand or a distributor, right? We're looking for brands that have 3 or more sellers on them because that signals to us that they're working with resellers like us. So we can jump in the game and get our what? Piece of the pie, right? We start opening accounts with them, placing orders with them, and getting it at a wholesale discounted price. We get that inventory shipped to a prep center. A prep center is like, instead of you filling up your living room and garage, a prep center can handle everything A to Z for you in terms of getting the products ready for Amazon, bubble wrapping it, putting it in plastic seals, boxing it, palletizing it, all of that not so fun stuff. Prep centers charge cents on the dollar. I've seen as low as 19 cents, but the average I usually see is around 50 to 55 cents to handle all of that. Now, prep centers are key. I know somebody's gonna think, hey, can I just send it to Amazon? Don't do that, because if you have any products missing or incorrect and you give it right to Amazon, they don't check things in like a small window. It might take them 2 weeks to report back that something was missing with you, right? That completely screws up everything because you have no visibility to what's actually happening in your business. So we use prep centers to handle that. They check everything and get it ready. It's usually within 72 hours, so relatively quickly. We get a report back. We know if anything was broken, missing, so we could go recoup any money that we have to from our brand distributor. And then cool, the prep center gets it ready and sends it into Amazon on your behalf. It's completely hands off. Even better than that, it's completely insured. So anything happens along the way, somebody's gonna pay for it, but it's not gonna come out of pocket for you. That's why you only need a phone and a laptop to run it. You can open up new deals, you can open up new brands, you can place orders from the phone. The prep center will handle all of that. Amazon will handle the fulfillment, right? Giving it to the customer. When Amazon even receives the box from the prep center, right? What do? They move it all around the country based on the demand. And then that's how the consumers get Amazon Prime. Favorite part about this is, let's say you have a brand that does 300K a month, 500K a month, right? There might be 9 sellers on that. When you jump on, you are the 10th seller. So you get to get what? 10% of everything being sold. The 10 of you are gonna share all of those sales. Amazon has something called buy box rotation. So next time you're on Amazon and you see a little add to cart or buy now, right? That's something called a buy box, right? There's a seller currently in that buy box, depending on where you're located. It's the seller that has the inventory closest to you to get to you fastest. Now, what happens is everyone else at the same price, they will rotate automatically. Amazon does this automatically. So we all share a piece of the buy box, so we all share a piece of the pie. This is my favorite part about this. We're not out here doing marketing, running ads, none of that stuff. We're reading data. We're understanding how much money we should be making per sale, how many sales we can make per month, and we're letting the data tell us a story about how much profit we can now put in our pocket. Now, we're buying this inventory at a wholesale price, so we're already making more than the arbitrage sellers because we have that discount. But here's one of my favorite parts about this, right? We get to leverage all of the brand growth without taking a risk. I remember there was a brand that I was selling. I was making about 50K in profit a month from this brand. And here's the thing, as they were doing all the marketing on TikTok, marketing on Facebook ads, all these things, I was just reselling. I wasn't paying any money to market on anything, but what happened to my income as that brand grew? Just kept going up. Something to the tune of making over $50,000 a month in profit from one single product. So we get to leverage these growing brands to just get our piece of the pie while providing them value by keeping their products in stock. These are trusted brands that people are already buying. Think about it. Like if you go to like any Target or something, you're probably gonna see Red Bulls there at like what, $3, $4 a can. Imagine you could just buy it in bulk from Red Bull at like $1 or something. You're like pretty much damn near guaranteed to make money, right? So this is how we operate on Amazon. We understand what the market is buying stuff for, understand what price we needed at to make at least a 20% return on investment, and we just fill in the gap. Then the coolest part about this is while you're building all these relationships with brands, right? What happens next? This is my favorite part. We lock in something called exclusivity with these brands. So yeah, we might start off as one of 10, one of 11, one of 12, one of 8 sellers on them. But we're always trying to angle it to figure out which brands we work with the best and lock in these exclusive deals where we could pretty much be, if they agree to it, their sole seller. So if a brand is doing 300K a month, we're taking up 10% because we're one of 10 sellers, we're making 30K a month. But what happens when we can start talking to them about giving us an exclusive deal and taking over the whole channel for them? Well, that one deal now goes from a 30K a month deal to a 300K a month deal, right? Without us having to build any new relationships. Now, I would say the one downside about this model, for some people, not everyone, is compared to everything else we spoke about, this is the one where soft skills matter. You have to learn how to communicate. If you don't know what to say, how to say it, and who to say it to, you're not gonna get deals. One thing that we hyper-focus on in our program is just that, how to actually separate ourselves from everyone else doing this outreach. And it matters because this is what allowed us to literally close up 92 different brand deals in the last 2.5 months. This will allow some of our students to close up deals that are gonna get them to 100K. Some of them are doing 200K, right? How is this happening? Because you know what to say, who to say it to, and how to say it. Soft skills are so important in this business model. Everything else is pretty much can be systematized. And then my favorite part about this is after you get to your first 10, 15, 20K month, what you need to do is start plugging in a virtual team, ideally in like the Philippines or somewhere where you can leverage the fact that the US dollar is so much stronger. So you can get somebody to work for like $2, $3, maybe $5 an hour to do all of this work, right? That's how you actually become the business owner. Imagine you had a team that was looking for new brands for you, creating orders for you, managing the whole system for you. Now when you go play around in Greece and Santorini for a little bit, or you want to go take a vacation to the Caribbean, things are still happening. Your business is still growing. This is when this business becomes extremely powerful. I'll be frank, right? We do over 8 figures a year. I have not worked for more than 3 hours on this business per day. I just don't. I don't need to. Sometimes I don't tell my partners, but it's even less than that sometimes because the team handles all of it. It's one of my favorite parts about when you get to this level. So that's Amazon Wholesale explained stupid simple. If you want to make this process a little quicker, I got 2 recommendations for you. One, you could join our next free, completely live workshop where we'll be going over A to Z, step-by-step process, everything we did to do over 35 million in sales per month. The link will be below if you want to sign up for that workshop, but trust me, seats are limited. We only have a few hundred. 2, if you want to move faster, what you want to do is hit the other link below to schedule a call with our team. We'll go over what it looks like to work with us in a one-on-one setting in our one-on-one mentorship program, where we actually have guaranteed results as well, and just show you the trajectory for how we're able to get people to over 20K a month within their first 6 months. Either way, make sure you subscribe. Every week we drop a new video going over the best strategies that we've been using in our own business and with our students to drive results even quicker. Check out the rest of the channel if you're serious about scaling your Amazon business. I'll see you soon.